Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Yes, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was given a portion of beauty of humanity. Maybe, yeah, he was given a portion of beauty of humanity. So he was a very, handsome individual. But as a whole, there was no one more beautiful than my Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There was no one more handsome than my Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was such, where Hazrat Aisha says, that if the people of Zulaykha had seen my Nabi at that time, they would have cut their hearts out instead of their fingers. They would have cut their hearts out instead of their fingers. And this was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He had awe, not only in his inner beauty, but outer beauty as well. Where the Sahaba would say that he was so beautiful, we would want to look at him, but out of the awe that he had, we would not be able to always look at him. And this was the respect that they had, the modesty that they had for our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Right? That his awe, that Allah Ta'ala had given him such an awe, where, you look at that individual and you fall in love with that individual. And then his akhlaq were such, where he had awe in his akhlaq and his lifestyle, where the Sahaba or the people would look at his lifestyle and they would become, astonished and admire it, and they'd fall in love with it, and then they would follow it. That's why the Sahaba used to say, Ya ayyuhan nas. They would say, oh people. They wouldn't say, come to Islam. No, they would say, just look at us. Look at the way we live. Look at the way we do tijarat. Look at the way we do business, and people would follow them and see them, and automatically they would become Muslim. Because of the akhlaq of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the maqsad of this, the purpose of this is that every Friday we sit, but we remind ourselves that we definitely are the ummati of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and through this we will see the beauty of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it should increase the love that we have for our Nabi. And as the love increases, the sunnah in our lives should also increase. Because true love is that which we follow that person that we love. There's a post, I remember reading it years ago, that people say that you can't love something that you've never seen. You can't love something that you've never seen. But yet, 1400 plus years ago, my Nabi passed away. We haven't seen him, but how many people love him? And we love Rasulullah. And it's a sign of that we love him. So my dear respected brothers and elders, mothers and sisters listening, we should take our time out in the month of Ramadan. And we should, read about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam if we can. If not, who was here for last Jummah? Not this Jummah that just was, but last Jummah, I spoke and I talked. In my talk, I mentioned something. And I said, does anyone remember the two things that I told people to do? Number one was take one ayat of the Quran and read it, right? And translate it and act upon it, right? Understand it and bring it into our lives if we can. And the second was send 50 salawat, 50 salat and salam upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on a daily basis. On a daily basis, right? And how simple is it? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sallallahu alaihi. That's the smallest. Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's a little longer, but it's still short. They said if you want to read Durud Ibrahim, but it'll take no more than 3 to 4 minutes. Sending 50 salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu. Our teacher and first imam in my local area, Maulana Ibrahim Sahib, Maulana Yaqub Sahib rahmatullah, Maulana Yaqub Mullah rahmatullah. His father had passed away. And at that night when his father passed away, he seen a dream. Now I'm not going to say that dreams are something which, are thabit, but a dream is a dream. Some sort of hint or ishara is given in a dream. Some sort of direction is given. So he said to him that in his dream, his father, his face was, turned dark because of the sins that he had done. And an individual came to him in that dream, and he met him. He went to his father, and then he left. And when he left, his father, there's nur coming from there. So he turned to that person that was walking, he said, who are you? He said, I'm Muhammad Rasulullah. So he said that every day I would receive 250 salawat and today I did not receive it, so I came to see this individual, and because of that Allah Ta'ala granted him maghfirah. 250 salawat on a daily basis. You know, I know people, till today they do 10,000 salawat on a daily basis. Imagine the love that they have for the Prophet ﷺ. So my dear respected brothers and elders, brothers and sisters listening, I urge everyone, and you know what, we will sit down here and do it quietly for 5 minutes or a few minutes. You know, just on a Wednesday we do some sort of dhikr as well, as a remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu dhkurullaha dhikran kathira. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, remember me excessively. And afdalu dhikri la ilaha illallah. The best type of dhikr is la ilaha illallah. And the Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba, when you dedicate your time to dhikr, you know, Abu Zar asked, how much time should I dedicate? So he said, more than half of the time. If you do the whole time, it's better for you to dedicate for reading salat and salam. This is a hukum from Allah in the Quran. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Right? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, oh, you who believe, you also said. So you know, my dear respected brothers and sisters listening, for a few minutes, just a few minutes, we will sit here, we will free our hearts of everything, free our minds of everything, put our phones to a side. This is a means of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and teaching. I am teaching how to do the dhikr of Allah. So when you go home, you can also do it in your houses. Once a week we can do it in the masjid, but on a daily basis you do it at home. Right? The zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La taqumu as-sa'a. The qiyamah will not come until when? That there is an individual saying Allah, Allah, Allah on the face of this earth. So we have to be amongst the dhakireen, so we are dalil and a proof of this hadith. And when we say La ilaha illallah, it goes up to the heavens and the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it shakes the heavens and the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There are La ilaha illallah that's taken to the heavens. So we're going to spend a few minutes, clear our hearts and mind, and in our hearts, not out loud yet, we do the dhikr, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. In our hearts. Don't read it out loud. This is muraqabah. We do it in our hearts. Just free our minds and our hearts of everything. Put our phones to a side. Don't look at anything and just close our eyes and think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and just say La ilaha illallah in our hearts. For a few minutes. And then we'll do some durood. And then some istighfar. And then inshallah we can conclude. Jazakumullahu khairan. La ilaha illallah, 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 Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad 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 sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. 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 Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to do istighfar how many times? Does anyone know? The hadith of Bukhari and Muslim. 70. And then in another riwayah it says 100 times on a daily basis. And he was masoom, he would never do sin. Allah Ta'ala had protected him. But he would still do istighfar. So we'll do istighfar for less than a minute, 30 seconds. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the ability to do dhikr on a daily basis. And remember our Rabb Allah and our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inshallah, next week we will talk in regards to how the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to walk and how he used to sit, how he used to, inshallah, some actions on how he used to live. And then we'll go to another chapter the week after about, I'll ask the brothers, next week of what we should talk about the following week. But on a weekly basis, we'll sit and discuss the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah grant us the true muhabbat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah Ta'ala grant us the ability to act upon the sunnahs of our beloved Sarkar, our Master sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana.